Superman was phenomenal. Now, if you know me, that might not sound like a really surprise of a take, because I don't generally hate other superhero movies. But if you're new, good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are. My name is Aiden, and I absolutely love superheroes. And going forward, there will be spoilers for Superman, so you've been warned. Superman was something different. David Corenswet embodied what it stood to be, Superman. To put life above all else, to care about humanity, and be more human than everyone else that there is. Especially with that last speech that he had against Lex, and then the final scene of him watching the videos of his childhood. That really screamed peak humanity, even coming from somebody who is not human himself, somebody who is an alien, an outsider, and has made this his home world. The acting was absolutely peak through this entire movie, so it's insane that there are people who didn't like it. Nick Holt was such a good Lex Luthor, his presence was menacing and evil, and it really truly felt like someone who hated Superman out of fear and jealousy, and it really rounded out the story arc in the end with him getting exposed for all his evil deeds. It was perfect, even though I know damn well it won't last long, and that's what makes it seem so realistic too, because no one that rich and intelligent and evil actually faces that much justice at the end of the day, and I can't wait to see what his return is like. But if anyone stole the show every single time that they were on the screen, it was Eddie Gathegi. His Mr. Terrific was so good that I honestly could not get over it every single time that I watched this movie. And at the time of writing the script and recording this video, I've seen Superman twice, and both times I've loved Michael Holt so incredibly much, you'd think that I would be there just to watch a movie about him. Rachel Brosnahan's Lois was really a perfect partner for David Superman, and her pairing with Mr. Terrific was really fantastic. I loved their side plot and how much she and even Skylar Gisando's Jimmy Olsen actually contributed to exposing Luthor's deeds in the end. Nathan Fillion's Guy Gardner was as good as it gets for Guy, and it really goddamn does make you like his character, even if he is such an asshole. The little things that he does throughout the movie, like blocking the windows when Clark was trying to get away from everyone, really shows that he does genuinely care about people, and him getting a Green Lantern ring wasn't a mistake. Other scenes, like when he's absolutely wrecking tanks with giant middle fingers and waving away the soldiers to protect the innocent, proves that his devotion to being a hero was absolute, even in his own dickheaded way. Hawkgirl was great for the couple of scenes that Isabel Mercedes actually was in, because her and the rest of the Justice Gang showed how differently each character will act in the new universe, especially with her executing a corrupt, disgusting president of a foreign nation and showing, hey, yeah, not all superheroes are going to be putting life above all else, especially if you are not putting life above all else yourself. Oh my god, Metamorpho, I can't wait to see more of Anthony Carrigan on the big screen, because he deserves everything that comes his way. He's been with DC since the CW days, and every character that he's played has always been so interesting to me. But his Metamorpho was phenomenal. I loved how believable his knowledge of the elements and his change from Luthor's forced muscle to Justice Gang member was such an amazing arc. And his costume design was so well done too. But speaking of costume and VFX designs, holy god, the art for this movie was amazing. The CGI had some very, very small problems, but nothing that actually took away from the viewing experience. And the Pocket Universe design was so peak, and the visuals were so stunning during those parts of the movie. I'm so glad this movie was given enough time for the VFX team and the rest of the visual artists to actually produce a really, really fine product, and I really hope that the MCU is able to take some notes from that, and especially not try to rush every single project that they put out, and be able to give us such stunning projects as the DCU hopefully will continue to do in the future. Of course, my beautiful girlfriend's favorite part of the movie was completely VFX and CGI, which was Crypto, and holy crap, Crypto, for being completely CGI, felt so full of life. Multiple times throughout the movie, my brother and my girlfriend turned to me, and they said that it was just like Lilo, which is our menace of a dog, and they're completely right. Crypto acted just like a really bad behaved dog, and it really allowed us to connect to that part of the movie more. The other art forms throughout this movie was perfect. Like, the musical score was absolutely fantastic. Every single song, every single score, all of it was perfect. And the other themes were portrayed so well throughout the movie. The amount of pro-Palestine messages that there were in this movie was crazy, and this is perhaps going to be the biggest movie of 2025. And its themes are just as important as the movie itself. If you don't have any media literacy, I will break it down for you right here, very easily for you to understand. Superman's main theme throughout the movie was that the use of fear and power, like that of Israel and Russia in real life, massacres and destroys countries full of innocent people like Palestine and Ukraine. Hitler did the same thing in Nazi Germany back during World War II. Superman and the rest of the heroes throughout the movie all agreed that the constant invasions were horrible things for innocents. None of them have any moral justification. They're all just excuses to help people cope with the fact that there are mass genocides happening all over the world right now. Some of them didn't want to get into politics, which is just like real life. Some of the people don't want to talk about these things, but it was really, really important that they did, and I'm so glad that they did. Or at least that they showed it in the way that they did. Superman was possibly the most openly political movie that I've ever watched that included aliens flying around with capes and brightly colored suits, but that's only because we've lost a certain amount of human decency that I feel like people used to have. The only reason that this movie feels political is because it includes themes of caring about people despite where they come from. In a world where there is such a large amount of hate and anger for people, Superman stood out as a message to stand up for kindness. Love your people and value everyone who you interact with. Caring about other nations and the people in those nations doesn't hurt anybody. It can only help uplift, and that's where this film's greatest strength was. It knew where it stood, and it firmly stood by that belief. If you still don't understand, I'll break it down even simpler. Be kind to everyone. Superman was beyond everything that I could have hoped for, and I'm so thankful for James Gunn and his filmmaking genius. The movie had such great potential, and it surpassed every expectation that I had for it. This was probably the most comic book movie that I think I've ever seen in my life. Despite having one character's name to the title, it explored a plethora of characters' lives, emotions, heartaches, and stories. It never strayed too far from our main character, but it allowed itself to build a universe around Superman. In comic books, you may have a main character that you follow, or that you name the series after, but you have many characters who make their debuts, cameos, or play integral parts, and even uplift the main story. The DC universe is so large that it would be insane to not have at least a couple other of the recognizable characters in each story, and it builds a really well-defined out world so well. At least with DC, I'm not going to be sitting here like I did with the Thunderbolts, wondering where all the other dozens of Marvel heroes who make their home in New York City are. Now, I'm not usually one of those nerds who say, follow the comics or whatever, but I do believe in proper character representation and I do have a good love for heroes. So I want to say thank you for embracing the comics. Thank you for using the largeness of the universe. Thank you for embracing the character, and thank you for loving what you do, James Gunn. Thank you for Superman. This movie can set up a large array of stories, and hopefully it will build such a large universe that I can't wait for. The plot lines through this movie, as well as how closed and open-ended the storyline could really be, is what can build this universe so well. Superman is the personification of DC, of superheroes even, so going forward this is going to be my Superman that I will be enjoying with my family and friends. This is a movie that I will be watching on repeat until the lessons are burned into the back of my mind like anything else that I've ever cared about. I like a lot of superhero media, so me saying this stuff might not mean a lot to you, but I just hope that everybody will enjoy the movie as much as I did. With that being said though, I thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and if you did, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I definitely recommend going out and watching this movie yourself if you still haven't seen it yet. Okay, bye now.